I think.
We all set? Good to go. Good evening. Welcome to the April 23rd Greenfield City Council meeting. Call meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor White,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Rodriguez, Councilmember Martinez. Here. Councilmember Ortiz. Here. And Councilmember Tipton.
Present. Right, we'll move to C. This agenda item allows city council to excuse the absence of council members not present at the meeting. All council members present, we skip this item, open it for public comments on item C. City council comments and action. I did receive a letter on email from it. Asking for excuse.
I move to excuse her absence.
I'll second. Then move to second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Very good, thank you. Invocation by Pastor Inez from Burleyville.
Buenas tardes. Primera de Timoteo, capítulo 2, del 1 al 2, dice: exhorto ante todo a que se hagan acciones de gracias por todos los hombres, por todos los reyes y por todos los que están en eminencia, para que vivamos quieta y reposadamente en toda piedad y honestidad.
Timothy 1:3. Therefore I exhort first and of all supplications, prayers, intercessions, and giving thanks be made for all men, for kings and all who are in authority, that we may lead a quiet and peaceful life in godliness and reverence.
Gracias a Dios por este día, por su amor y su sabiduría. Bendice al concilio de la ciudad, al departamento de policía, al departamento de bomberos, a todas las agencias que ayudan aquí en Griffith, en el nombre de Jesús. Amén.
Thanks to be to God for this day, for his love and his wisdom. Bless the city council, the police department, the fire department, and any other agency in the city of Greenfield. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. Move to Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Ready?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We move to agenda review.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to pull one item. It's a presentation J1, the Housing Element Annual Program Report. It'll come back next meeting as an action item.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Public comments from the audience regarding items not on the agenda. This portion of the agenda allows an individual the opportunity to address the council on any items not on the closed session, consent calendar, public hearings, and city council business. Under state regulations, no action can be taken on non-agenda items, including issues raised under this agenda item. Members of the public should be aware of this when addressing council regarding items not specifically referenced on this agenda. Do we have any public comments?
Good afternoon, evening council. I'm Galilea Silva. I'm the Junior Giants Commissioner here in Greenfield. And I'm just letting everyone know that Junior Giants is completely free. It's co-ed, it's non-competitive, baseball and softball summer program for local youth ages 5 to 13 years old. I do accept kids from other South County cities, so Greenfield residents, please take advantage of this. Do not wait until mid-May. because I will have a waiting list. And I'm expecting this year to serve at least 300 to 330 kids, but that's only possible with volunteers. So if anyone here would like to volunteer, please register. It's completely free. There are many perks such as Giants tickets, free, and other stuff. Also what we provide to the families, it's a reversible Giants jersey, baseball, softball pants, a hat or a visor, a glove if they don't have one, a water bottle, weekly baseball cards, and an exclusive bobblehead at the end of the season, plus many more perks. So please take advantage. Once again, it's completely free. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, I'm Robert Kiedis. I'd just like to bring up that 2 weeks ago, they patched potholes on Reed and Del Leon. Well, it's already getting tore up. It's just the whole patches are not sticking. And that corner was a bad corner. And also those cars that are parking in the handicap ramps where people go across the street, there are still cars parking there and they're around the corner. And so when you have to come around the corner, you have to go wide out and the cars are coming, you're in trouble. So that's what I needed to say.
Thank you, Rob.
Bye.
Anyone else in the audience? I do see one hand raised.
Gabby?
Good evening, City Council members. I just wanted to say, what are the updates on policies around how you conduct yourselves on your official council member social media platforms? The community should be informed and updated. Councilwoman Martinez was given the privilege of a committee despite being sanctioned. What is the update on this committee and what has she been doing? I think it's important for the community to know. For the city council members, what are the statistics from the Greenfield Police Department on child sexual abuse to provide to the community and start advocating and protecting the children of Greenfield? What is the city doing to outreach to the community on resources Greenfield has in regards to domestic violence and sexual assault, not only to adults, but to teenagers? Last committee, some of you voted for a $300,000 informational center. I think it's unnecessary given the lack of resources Greenfield has. I believe with $300,000 spending it on resources the community will utilize would benefit the community. For example, opening and renovating Greenfield pool, which has been closed, having free youth programs or programs centered around mental health, parenting classes, free boxing classes, and the list can go on and on. I think once the essential resources are in place, having an informational center makes sense. Greenfield needs programs to have a positive impact. Having an informational center is not the priority. I think, again, having a positive impact on the youth, on adults, would create a better community. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Laura?
Laura?
Good day, City Council. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Good day, City Council. Last week we had an emergency needed and
We have lost you.
hello?
You're back. We lost you for a while.
Okay, sorry about that. So last week, I just want to make a comment. Last week we had an emergency at our property and needed the ambulance to enter our property. However, when they arrived, the firefighters nor the ambulance could enter our property. There's a mess due to the construction happening, which had actually stopped for about over 3 weeks. There has been no construction. we've already tried to contact Jamie and Doug, and nobody's response. We need a status on that update. Like I said, this emergency just happened last week. It could have been worse. I want to thank the first responders for helping us that night. I mean, it was a bad night, but everything is well now. But this entrance and this whole construction, it's something that you guys need to hurry up and fix. Like I said, we couldn't get first responders to come into our property, and we needed this emergency. I'm thinking of doing a lawsuit. I don't know if it's against the city or the staff. Jamie is not doing her job. She's not responding to our messages, nor Doug. I would like a status on this construction. Thank you.
Thank you. Just for your information, there is an action item on that issue tonight, actually. So, all right. Anybody else? Not, we'll bring it back to comments from City Council.
Thank you. I actually don't have that much tonight. The first one is that I'm going to harp on the don't ride bicycles or walk in the streets when it's dark. If you're wearing dark clothes, please try to wear something reflective. I know it's getting light, it's staying light longer, but still, once it gets dark, I've seen a lot of people, especially trying to cross the street there on Walnut, trying to go to the AM, PM and all, that when it's very dark, they just walk across the street, dark clothing, not a good combination. Please have your pets spayed or neutered. Remember, it's the law. We do have the SNP bus that comes to town every other month that comes in. We'll do it at a very low cost, or you can reach out to SCAR as well, SCAR or our neighborhood pet project as well, and they'll help. And something I'd actually like to see brought to council in the near future is, due to the fact that we no longer have that many vets in South County, SNP has expanded their programs and they're now doing a wellness clinic as well as just the spay and neuter clinic. But I'd actually like to see us reach out to see if we can get more information and bring them to town for the wellness clinic once a month or once every other month as well. Maybe we alternate months. We do 1 month we get the wellness clinic, 1 month we get the spay and neuter clinic. But I'd like to see that brought in as an option. I'm also in the process of trying to work with Chris Lopez, if he'll ever call me back on, if you're familiar with it, Salinas Valley Memorial Hospital is a healthcare district. One of the things I've been discussing with some people is apparently healthcare district doesn't necessarily have to be human healthcare. So one of the things I'm trying to discuss is the possibility of starting a veterinary healthcare district for South County. So we'd all pay into it, small, minimal amount on our property taxes, and we would have a veterinary service for South County. That's one of the things we're starting to look into, since South County is so, there's very few vets here, with the one in Soledad closing, the one in King City changing ownership as well. So it's something we're definitely looking forward to try to make sure that the pets are taken care of down here. I've gotten several calls in the last couple of weeks for people looking for references to vets. And it's like, okay, the only thing I can refer to is Salinas, because that's where I end up going. So hopefully we can do that, and maybe even bring an emergency veterinary clinic down here as well. Speeding on Walnut, I actually saw somebody today make that speed limit sign hit 60 miles an hour, that speed trailer. So and it was while I was sitting there trying to pull out of the AM PM. So please watch your speed on that limit. It is 35 miles an hour. Speed limits are not really an option. Neither are stop signs and yield signs. I've been seeing a lot more of that lately. Please make sure you're being careful out there. And there's still tire amnesty going on at the Solid Waste Authority facilities. If you have tires you want to get rid of, please go take advantage of that. They'll take any of the tires free of charge. So you don't have to worry about paying for that. And I think that's about all I've got for right now.
All right, thank you very much. Councilwoman Martinez.
I don't have much today either, like Drew, I guess it's the night that we're not going to be chatty. But I know that our community has always talked about the kittens, and we have a lot of cat lovers in town, and I know many are trying to see how they could help. I'm excited to announce that the Hitchcock Road Animal Services are actually providing a workshop on May 11th from 10:30 to 11:30 for anybody who wants to learn how to foster kittens, because we do get calls, and I know at one point Chief Mixer is not here, but animal control gets a lot of those calls. Well, there's kittens alone. Mom is nowhere to be found. We know that mom leaves for a while and then she'll come back. But for whatever reason, some people decide to move kittens from one area to another. So this is an opportunity for community members, especially our little ones. I know we have a lot of great kids and youth in the community that really look after our animals and want the best for our little cats. So if anybody wants to get that training, it's all free and you're going to learn how to be able to foster kittens and also help out our community. We know that we have springtime, a lot of new kittens in town. So just FYI, if anybody wants to participate, again, Hitchcock Road Animal Services, they're doing great workshops. And then there's another workshop that I hope I'm not going to be able to attend, but hopefully one of my colleagues or even the mayor could attend. And this is with MC Score. And so this is basically a group of made up of different folks throughout the Southern Monterey region. We know that Southern Monterey region, it's very repetitive, but we have to say it over and over. A lot of the services don't make it to South County. And so this group formed because of that, where we have senior citizens, we have folks with disabilities, we have folks that just simply feel like there's no resources in Southern Monterey County. They meet once a month and they meet at Campora in Campora at the apartment complex. And that's going to be on the 24th from 9 to 11. And so everyone is welcome, especially everyone that represents communities of Southern Monterey County. And again, that's with the organization MC Score. So hopefully somebody could attend that meeting. I know that I won't be able to attend because I won't be in the area, but just letting my colleagues know. And yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you very much. One, please.
Good evening. Have quite a few things to go over. First of all, I wanted to thank the police department for the work that they've been doing on helping King City solve these crimes that happened in outside of town and in King City. The work that they do is very dangerous, and I think they've been getting a lot of input from the community helping to solve these crimes. And I just really want to thank our police department for pitching in and doing their job. And they're doing a really good job. So we're very lucky in our community. Secondly, I'm going to have an event over at the Magnolia Apartments. The manager stated that the new phase 2 will be fully occupied by the end of this month. And so we're going to collaborate and do an event for phase 1 and phase 2, more of a welcoming gathering, and do something special for the seniors there. I'm hoping to include the some of the people from the other facility. Yeah, Los Ositos, yes. But I will have more information on our next meeting, and then we'll do some flyers, and hopefully the other council members can join in. I know that Councilmember Martinez has done a lot of work over at the Magnolia, so she's very familiar with them and they're very familiar with her. So, and it would be really good just so they can know. I'll be working with and giving information to both chiefs in the city, so they can have representatives there to give information to our seniors over there. Another thing I'm really concerned about right now is there's no lines on the 12th Street at all. And a lot of people are starting to treat it as a one-way street. And so there's many times when I myself have had to get way over almost parking because somebody's driving down the middle of the lane. So it's really important that we get those, get that taken care of as soon as possible. Also, I'm really happy to get an email that the high school has received funding. And so they will be putting up banners for some of the high school graduates for this year. So I think you said they need to be in by May, the end of May, Jamie. And so it'll be exciting to see that, all the kids up there. Secondly, I wanted to ask for a report on code enforcement to see where we're at, what are the statistics looking like, how many cars have we towed, how many warnings have they given out, and so on. So if we could get that going. Another thing I noticed too, that the parks are being very, being kept up really, really nice. They're very clean. The guys that are going out there are doing a really excellent job. of keeping everything clean. And it's really nice. You're seeing a lot of people, especially with the weather getting better now. They're really utilizing the basketball courts. So if I can get an update on the lights, when we can expect, you have the lights, I'm sorry, the cameras. And see when that will be happening. I did attend the Parks District meeting last Monday. And I specifically went because I wanted to find out about the pool. There's been a lot of social media conversations going on regarding the pool and why the city hasn't, opened it, but it's obviously it's a different district, so we have no say in that. But it's really important to know that they did agree. They're waiting for a estimate to come in and hopefully sign a contract and start working on the pool out there. It probably doesn't look like they'll have it open this summer, but it will definitely be open next summer. So that'll be really exciting for the kids here in town. There's a lot of conversation about resources. I believe one of the callers has been talking about it, and Councilmember Martinez just talked about it also, that not having resources down here. And it's a conversation that we're going to start having next month with meetings with Supervisor Lopez. So hopefully, we can get the ball rolling and get more resources down here for South County. That's it.
All right, thank you very much. I do have a few things tonight. Greenfield Rotary is having a community yard sale at the Memorial Hall on May the 4th. Booths are available, so gather all those things that you want to get rid of and rent a booth and raise some cash. So, you can reach out to me or any of the Rotarians. Greenfield Rec Department has senior artwork going on May 9th and June 13th. Also senior yoga class, May 15th and the 19th, both at Patriot Park. If you're interested, reach out to the rec department. Also, there is, for ages 5 to 13, there is the NFL flag football available for both boys and girls divisions. Greenfield Rotary is having a women's empowerment resource fair on May 18th. Rotary District 5230 and the Limitless Mentorship and Scholarship Program invites all women and girls to learn about local resources and opportunities available to them to succeed in all areas of life. Inspiring Women's Speaking Panel and features moderator Genevieve Armenderos with Miss Monterey County, Ariana Rodriguez, Mayor Pro Tem, Chantel DeLuba, Monterey County Firefighter of the Year, Evelyn Fullwood, General Manager and Chairholder for BJ's Restaurant. There will be free self-defense classes, free workshops, free catered lunch. You can meet with local organizations that support women and girls. There's free school supplies, free menstrual hygiene products, free workwear, and free books and much more. So encourage everyone to attend that. That again is May 18th. The youth councils from Gonzales, Soledad, and Greenfield are having a youth summit on May 11th at Main Street School in Soledad. Gain inspiration, resources, and caring connections to make positive changes in the community. For youth, by youth, free lunch, guest speakers, raffle prizes, resource fair, and workshops. Youth are encouraged to attend. I want to say a thank you out to Superintendent Carolyn Cotta from the high school. I appreciate her support on the banners. I reached out to her a week or so ago, and now I'm seeing some movement on that issue. So happy to see that happening. And finally, I wanted to read a letter. The Monterey County District Attorney's Office Victims of Crime Unit is pleased to announce that National Crime Victims Rights Week will be commemorated April 21st through April 27th. This year's theme is How Would You Help? Options, Services, and Hope for Crime Survivors. It encourages our community to take affirmative steps to assist victims and survivors of crime in various ways, creating new options for support, raising awareness of services, and providing hope. As part of the annual week-long commemoration, the Victims of Crime Unit will host the 25th Annual Victims Dedication Ceremony on Friday, April 26th from 12 to 1. The ceremony will be held in the courtyard of the Salinas Courthouse at 142 West Allison in Salinas. We cordially invite you to attend the ceremony to honor the victims and survivors of crime and acknowledge the lawful law enforcement and community resource agencies. I've attended these in the past. It is a really good reminder that these crimes are far-reaching and affect families right here in our community. So if you're able to attend on Friday, I highly encourage it. It's really worthwhile. So, thank you very much. All right, that's what I have. Let's move on to consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered routine and may be approved by one action of the city council, unless a request for removal for discussion or explanation is received prior to the time council votes on a motion to adopt. I'll open the consent calendar up for public comments, please. Seeing none, I'll enter. Is there anything that needs to be pulled from the consent calendar? Any questions? And I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
And moved and second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you very much. Motion passes. J1 was pulled. J2, presentation by Community Center timeline update. Hey, Jesus, is this you? Okay.
I don't check the messages with them.
I think
Good
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. Jesus Perez here, Greenfield Recreation Manager. I'm here to provide an update on our community center / park project timeline. So in January, in our January 9th meeting, I reviewed 16 tasks that were required to complete this project. When we presented this timeline in January, we had completed task number 1, which was the finalization of the agreement to purchase the property. And we were in the process of completing tasks number 2 through 8A, which are the close of the escrow for the acquisition of the property, the schematic concept level design, site risk assessments, environmental cleanup remediation, CEQA for the construction scope, project estimate update using designs from step 3, and consultation with the Conservation Corps. And 7B, completing the property annexation, as well as the RFP selection of an architect. As of today, we have completed tasks 1 through 7A from the timeline, and we're working on task 7B, which is the annexation of the property, which will be completed by July 2024. Task 8A, the RFP solicitation of an architect, it's now complete and it will be posted tomorrow. And we'll be checking that off our list as well. So once we have selected an architect, we'll work on completing tasks 9 through 12, which will complete our pre-construction period that focuses on final designs, project manager reviews, and the construction award, which you can find on our timeline. That being said, I'd be happy to answer any questions, but I'm happy to show that we've made a lot of progress. Thank you.
Do you have any questions from council or any comments?
My only comment is just thank you, Jesus. I really do appreciate the fact that you brought this forward, like the little timeline itself.
Yeah.
And handed one for each to keep, because I know a lot of us get constantly asked by the public. I know that's always on social media. So it's always really good. I don't know if you're going to be posting it on your social media platform, but that would be beneficial as well for the community. But I appreciate the extra work. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, we can post this on social media, of course.
Would be great. It would. All right, thank you very much.
All right,
Appreciate
thank
the
you.
Updated information. All right, we'll move to public hearings. A resolution, City Council, City of Greenfield objecting to the Monterey County Tax Collector proposed sale of one parcel of property in the city of Greenfield for non-payment of delinquent property taxes and authorizing an execution of an agreement to purchase tax defaulted property between the city of Greenfield and the Monterey County Board of Supervisors. Staff report, please.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. This matter goes back to the formulation of the Monterey Motion Specific Plan, 65-acre plan itself. Tonight we're discussing unfinished roadways within a specific plan area. The road parcels begin with ingress off Robert, traverses southerly to behind Starbucks and Fish Point. The road heads easterly, and then another portion of it continues south. The map in the staff report shows the boundaries of the parcel. It is exclusively a roadway parcel. At present, these are the main roads within the plan, and the only finished roads really in use. Just to refer to what we're talking about. The existing parcels in the specific plan area were created in 2016. In circumstances such as this, there typically are three ways to handle the creation of roadways within an area like this. Number one, roads may be dedicated to the city, public jurisdiction. In which case, the public entity agrees and will maintain the roads. The second phase, such roads are created, but roads also are creating a public right of way, except they also have maintenance district of jump heights. There are residential, you'd see a homeowners association, for example, or business assessment district would function in the same vein, that is to maintain those roads. Either of these political instruments exist tonight. It is the third typical way it is at issue this evening. The third option is where the owner, the developer, retains possession and ownership of the road. And the expectation there is that the roads become discrete parcels of their own, discrete assessor's parcel number, and that's key. And in this case, the owner of the parcel is responsible for the road maintenance. That's the key point. At the time these roads were created in 2016, the developer, also known as Max, was the property owner. At the time, these roads were intended to be maintained by Mr. Becerra, except investments in Greenfield went belly up during the subsequent years, and unfortunately, approximately 3 years after these roads were created, the developer is said to have filed for bankruptcy. These developers are left down part of so the remaining interest in Greenfield, but not all of them. The salient point here is that apparently during this period, Mr. Becerra failed to pay taxes on the subject parcels. Despite aggressive and exhaustive efforts by the county tax collector's office, the county was unable to collect tax on these road parcels in February of this year, just about 2 months ago. The county notified the city that the subject street parcels would be auctioned off at the courthouse as a tax delinquent foreclosure. After thorough discussion with both the assessor and the tax collector's office, it was decided that the city may retain control over the roadways through what is referred to as a Chapter 8 sale. Under this paradigm, the county is able to limit the sale of the property. The city of Greenfield, under parties could purchase the property contingent upon payment of the delinquent taxes in the amount of approximately $42,000. Tonight's action objecting to the tax collector's proposed sale of the parcel is part of this Chapter 8 process, and would permit the city to enter into an agreement authorizing the execution of an agreement. Tax defaulted property between the city and county board of supervisors. Now, it is anticipated in the future that the possibility exists to only remit to the county costs and expenses rather than Mr. Becerra's entire tax debt. However, that is yet to be determined. Staff will pursue every avenue to effectuate that outcome instead of the payment of his tax debt. After all, it really is a city county interesting since parcels to be sold at auction. The city can face a situation where a private party has control of the parcels and limited access to the commercial entities at the site. And we don't want that. It's noteworthy that south of this property, part of the map is working its way to the city council. This project was subdivided in million parcels in a specific plan south of Mumbai into 10 parcels. Staff is conscientious. I want the council to know, very conscientious, to be sure that this condition and circumstance not reoccur in the city. Rights action going toward directing amount to the state, and sometimes they're very difficult to believe that developers will that's interesting and that's even known that they can. So, two questions as well. Hopefully, you can close my remarks.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing. Does anybody have anything they would like to say on this? Open the public hearing. See no hands raised, nobody here. We'll close the public hearing. We'll bring it back to council comments, review, and action. Questions, comments?
I really don't think we have an option.
Yeah, we don't want it going to anybody else. So I don't think we need control. So
I can see somebody putting like a toll gate across the you make a killing.
it's $1 a car.
50 cents a car.
So yeah, I think we've got to move forward on it. Not a pleasant situation, but I think we've got to.
I'll move approval.
We need a second.
Second.
And moved in second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. All right, I'll move to L1, resolution of the city council, city of Greenfield approving a contract with BPR for building inspection, building plan review, and building officials. Ready to the staff report, please.
Thank you again for community development. Thank you for the opportunity to present this request for a time materials contract for the BPR. They're a base firm of approximately 75 professionals serving communities across California and now north and south for the purpose of supplementing and replacing the existing contract for building services, which the community development currently has with CSG. Needless to say, the building function plays a critical important role in the city, ensuring that the construction is safe for habitation and adheres to the California Building Code. The building official also is responsible for addressing nuisance properties in ways and means that adheres to written legal precepts that are rooted in the Constitution. In addition, the city's building inspectors must possess a very special and high degree of diplomacy and effectiveness in enforcing the building code in the field. Philosophically, we approach the building. If you want to call them discrepancies within educate first and obtain compliance through gentle persuasion rather than the forceful presence. Top of mind with this item is the city's strategic value number 4, that is to develop first-in-class governance structure and strategy. Is to hire the best qualified employees and trained to be first-in-class service providers. an official position has been vacant since 2023. And it's been a very difficult position to fill because of the credentialing that's required, and also the challenges with working in a high cost of living area such as Monterey County. In fact, most jurisdictions in the county, among the 17 jurisdictions, have contract building services. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your preference, but it remains find the building official and building staff that can serve and professionally as full-time equivalent city staff, which is not always able to do that. Since the building official vacancy, the city council approved a contract with Forley. Recall that the city council subsequent to that also authorized us a contract with CSG to bridge the status quo and assist the city with trying to find the appropriate staff for this vital function in the city. Salient that the company with CSG was funding an excellent job and a professional job. However, the arrangement with CSG was always intended to be a temporary contract, a temporary arrangement. Communication. Despite our focus to fight those with the noise. Sorry. But the recent months, the CSG approached the city and conveyed the necessity to increase fees by 40%. And also reassign the incumbent building official to a different jurisdiction and send us a different person. The fee increase, which was not to be negotiable. I informed CSG when we would attempt to find alternatives. We issued an RFP on March 22nd, and the RFP responded kindly to that RFP. Their top officials, credentials were exhaustively and recommendations provided the city before we done place. The decision was made to ask the city council whether with full support of staff's recommendation we could let a contract with the ERP for time and materials. They come to the city highly recommended and fabulously credentialed. They provide services in jurisdictions, as I said, up and down the state, and they have over 75 professionals headquartered in Europe, but again, they have throughout the state of California. Spent a lot of time in other jurisdictions and in other cities of the university business. There's only in Monterey County. An opportunity an opportunity to do some great work in the city. It's working the laptop. Our city's valuation is at about $974 million. $274 million of that has occurred in the last 4 years, which is 25%. So there is a lot of moving in the city. I don't think I have to counsel that, but the city's strategic value in mind. We recommend the city council that This contract being approved as described in your staff report for action materials for the building official. Building commercial building plan review. And so with the city, it would also permit a seamless transition as CSG transitions out of the city. I'd also like to add that our current requirements for building official and for building inspectors, we are still aggressively trying to find these professionals who can make their professional home in the city of Greenfield.
I will now open it up for public comments on item L1. Seeing no one here, I will now bring it back to council comments, review and action.
So I do have one quick question. The rates were not included in our packet. What are the rates going to be for these people? And how do they compare to the rates that we were getting from CSP? The attachment B is just a blank page.
Okay, well, this was $140 an hour for the building official. It's a lower rate, I think, $108 for non-professional services. That's what I have in mind. There's a chart in there, the staff report. I remember reading it. I don't know why it would not be in your report, but that's okay.
Okay. How does that compare with CSG? How does that compare to CSG?
It's CSG, $140 an hour.
Before or after the 40% increase?
Before.
That was the question.
Yes. They were jumping all of their fees up substantially. And if there were a 10 or 20% increase, there was a lot of that going on throughout the state, but 40% was never anticipated. And I just thought that we would at least send out an RFP and see if we could find some alternatives.
No other questions? Now a lot of these fees are recoverable, right? That's money that we charge the developers when they come in to review some of this stuff, right?
I'm sorry.
Some of those fees are recoverable.
Yes, they are.
To charge to the developers when they come in and bring materials in, right?
Yes, they are.
All right, any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion on item L1.
I'll move approval.
Second,
Second.
been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. L2, adopt a resolution of the City Council, City of Greenfield awarding a provisional service contract to Brent Salama Consultants for professional advance grant planning services for an initial 3-year term on a time and materials basis and authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute the contract. Staff report.
Thank you, Mayor. As you described, it is a proposal to contract with Panasonic Consulting for planning materials. As you're probably well aware, this is conducted and so that we need a consultant for working preparation for the housing element update, which we are on our second pass back on that. We had been money every morning through that covered the expenses for Mr. Stormwater, that contract entirely for the housing and update services. In addition to that, however, we also relied on renting to senior planning and some advanced planning as well as we gear up to complete and start the general plan process. So this contract is a contract over $25,000 for time and materials when, as the mayor mentioned in the earlier segment, when either an applicant speaking on a problem which typically they are, or when it is not in for the advanced planning work on the LNG, in which way it is current arrangement were maxed out at about 90%. And so a new contract would give us the flexibility to continue to benefit from Mr. Summer's services.
Right, thank you. I will entertain public comments on this item, L2. Seeing none, I'll bring it back to council comments, review, and action.
I've worked with Brent since I was on the planning commission almost 12 or 13 years ago, maybe longer than that. I think this is he's a great addition to the city. I think he knows what he's doing. We worked with him on the specific plan for Walnut Avenue. I think this is a great thing to continue, and I think we need to do it.
Any other comments? I'll entertain a motion on L2.
I will move approval.
Need a second? Second. Moved and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. L3, adopt a resolution of the City Council, City of Greenfield approving a contract change orders 1 through 4 for capital improvement projects CIP 2306, street drainage and pedestrian improvements on 12th Street between Oak and Elm Avenues. Staff report, please.
Thank you. Mayor, council members, is this on?
Done with it.
No, I don't think so.
Not on?
That one's on. Do you want to switch?
Yeah, I'm gonna switch it. Thank you. So again, Mayor, council members, Doug Pike, city engineer. For the 12th Street project, you're familiar with, the purpose and goal of that was to complete all the remaining street improvements on the west side of the street, including drainage improvements. And council at the end of February of 2023 approved an overall project budget in the range amount of 1.28 million to 1.4 million for improvements to complete that work. And it includes some grant funds as well, about $100,000 in special grant monies to assist with the sidewalk. Purpose of this staff report is to seek approval of 4 contract change orders to resolve several utility conflicts that were anticipated to be defined and resolved during construction. The total additional amount still is well within the budget, which was approved. So we're not asking for any increase in budget, just authorization to increase the contract amount with the contractor. And the issue is all about utilities. The street was lowered, and we tried to anticipate the details of that through survey, through following trusting the design of the consultant that built Magnolia Apartments. And then during construction, we had their contractor do some potholing. But it was still a challenge to know exactly what was going on underground, because we didn't do the extensive potholing that the contractor did once our contractor was hired on site, did many potholes. One way to think of it is that we lowered the street, and so the utilities that were rising up the hill and then trailing off, they're rising now towards the surface of the road. And we optimistically hoped that we could simply put a concrete cap over the shallow facilities. And if they'd have been under the base section, then we could have done that. But turns out that would be about 4 inches into the base and about 2 to 3 inches below the pavement surface. So we determined it'd be better to lower the water main. And then also we're working with PG&E, who is likewise lowering their services as well. So these 4 change orders all have to do with utilities. The first one is deepening the storm drain a little bit for length at an additional cost of $6,900. Change order 2, modifying the Clark Colony irrigation channel, which is $8,300. That one was unexpected because we were told by Clark Colony we could abandon that, and then they found that there was a shareholder on that. One shareholder left downstream of that, and they asked us after we awarded the contract to maintain that, so we did. Change order 3 is a landscape wall less than 30 inches to conform the private property. The hope was that in negotiation with the property owners, we could just simply conform and lay back the hillside. But the property owners desired to keep their fence as close to possible to where it was. So we're putting a landscape wall up for about 400 feet. Change order 4 is lowering the water line. Lowering the gas main doesn't incur any costs to the city, just delays because we're City of Greenfield existed prior to PG&E, so we have the right to make them move their facilities. So the total additional required cost for these 4 contract change orders is $109,000 and some change, and does have an impact on schedule. Assuming approval of the change orders, then we'll immediately lower the water main. PG&E is the tough one. They've given us a schedule and we're arm wrestling with them on that. They're thinking they can't start until after next month. But overall, we're looking at a project completion of about 3 months for the project. We can get quite a bit done starting next week once we have this change order, these change orders signed and approved. And we can update you more on the details of the schedule once we are done arm wrestling with PG&E. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, I'm going to open it up for public comments on item L3. Seeing no hands raised, nobody in council, on chambers, I'll bring it back to council for comments.
First question for you is, what's the state of that water main running down that street?
The condition of it,
Yes.
it's in pretty good shape. It's just too shallow, and there's some services that we're not in good shape. That
The reason I'm asking is would it be feasible to go ahead if it's due for a replacement, since we're going to be moving it anyway, would it be amenable to going ahead and replacing that at this time? Or is it something that's not necessary?
Yeah, it's not necessary at this time. The water main is in good shape. We just had it was an elevation issue. With the valves, the main itself, as well as the lateral, there used to be towers, put it. Very minimally prior to the happening on this. But you know that when we do it, we have to do it there in the future.
Right.
So there is definitely like we could lower.
we also discovered that the shutoff valves work. We did a test shutdown, and we were able to close it tight. So that's good news, because that's a constant problem when you do water main work.
And has PG&E actually committed to their dates they have so far? I know you said you were twisting their arms.
Yeah, they have a date in their minds that we're still talking to them about, which is beginning work in June. It's a month, 6 weeks out. And we're trying to consolidate that. As it is, we don't have a final schedule from them yet. So that's that 3-month schedule to complete is assuming the worst case for now.
Okay.
Okay.
So I do want to commend PG&E. They jumped right on it, got out in the field. They actually completed a design for relocating their main. Their permit desk got their encroachment application into us. with their traffic control plan. I turned it around the same day and permitted it. And that was a week ago. They always put a tentative work date on their application because they just don't know how their scheduling is working. And so the PG&E representative is working with the field crews to figure out the soonest they can do it. I did try to connect with him again today before the meeting to see if there were any updates, but I was not able to get in contact with him. But they're looking at trying to get it done as soon as possible. But with their backlog, they have to fit it in.
Amy, are you keeping the residents there updated, the ones especially on the website?
Yes, so actually our inspector has been keeping people updated. I've had a few phone calls, left some messages back and also responded to emails, yes. And then after tonight's action, I'll be able to put out like a bulk email letter to the residents or the property owners. They're the ones who are informing the residents that live in their properties.
And we post that on social media as well, just so everybody is aware of what's going on, because you're gonna have a lot more people than just the people that are affected by this, particular people that can take their kids to school down Main Street. They're not just the property owners who are affected.
Yeah, everybody's affected by this project that uses 12th Street.
Right, so if you could just post that out, so everybody knows what's going on, that would be appreciated.
Yeah, and we'll be able to do that after the council action, once we have the updated schedule. And be able to provide all the information up front at once. And the only unknown may be PG&E.
And so, yeah, I was just going back to the comment that the community member made. How are we making sure that that doesn't happen again? I mean, if there's a life-threatening situation and the paramedics or local hero need to go in there, whatever the case might be, why was it not doable? Is the company working with the residents there? I mean, what was the situation there? Because this is already becoming a headache, I know, for a lot of folks that have been complaining, folks that love to use and commute that street, but not just them, but also our residents, the homeowners, and especially the seniors at Magnolia. I know there's been a lot of complaints. And just to hear that's going to be a little bit more weight, that's just concerned. How do you make sure that that doesn't happen again for this community member that had that situation?
Yes, and that's actually the first time I heard of that. That community member did reach out regarding some other concerns about like septic cleaning and things like that. All of the residents that do live there have full access to their driveways, 100% full access. There is nothing blocked off. So I can't speak for emergency services. I don't know whether if it was in the original condition, if they would go to the actual residents. I know it'd be a little bit difficult for fire services to get back there. So skinny driveway, I don't know about ambulance services. But that is the first time that I did hear about the emergency. But there is full access at all times. And when the contractor's there, if there is not, they communicate with the resident. And if they need to come out, they make the access and then they come out.
So Jamie, could you coordinate with Chief Langborg and Ms. Morales and figure out what the correction or what we need?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other questions, council?
So I did have one more quick question. As you said, the Clark Colony Water changed their mind about irrigation after they found out that there was a shareholder there. Can we go after them for the cost of moving their irrigation system?
No, it's not, well, they predate us.
Yes.
So, we have an obligation to, comply with what their requests are concerning their facility. And it ended up being a nominal cost, but, we were hoping it would have been a zero cost, but as it was, we had to maintain it as functional.
I do have a few questions. The idea of lowering the street, why wasn't it maybe increasing the crown, or when was the problem discovered?
Well, the reason why the design is what it is because of the drainage issues that we're well aware of that have been just above that high point for many, many years, how that fills up like a lake up there. And to make everything work and drain properly, the road elevation had to come down, even with the storm drain system that we put in.
And so we knew that there was going to be shallow utilities, and we did everything possible to understand exactly how it would be. And like I said, it was a rise in the pipe and then down. And so what is that range that needed to be dealt with, and how shallow was it? And I think the way I laid it out here that kind of explains the different considerations. These utility items were anticipated but could not be well defined until construction of Magnolia Apartment Street improvements was complete. The as-built condition could be assessed, and the current contractor could pothole, stake, and define the limits, and an optimum solution could be developed. We spent a lot of time and energy with the design and potholes and looking at what we knew. And we felt like, you know what, it looks like we can just get by with putting a cap on these utilities, and the gas main would be underneath the sidewalk and the curb and gutter, so it would be protected. But that optimistic viewpoint didn't bear out. It ended up the cap would have to come up in the base section right underneath the pavement, and that would be untenable. And so we looked at, well, if we're going to lower it, we're going to lower the right amount, so we keep everything at a depth that's safe and will not be threatened by real loads in the future and that sort of thing. So it's one of those things. That's why the budget was what it was. That's why we're not asking for a budget increase. So we anticipated some work, and we didn't know how big it would be until this juncture. When we went out to bid, when we designed and went out to bid, the Magnolia apartment improvements hadn't been built yet. So we had to go on the assumption that everything was going to be built exactly where their design it was in terms of surface improvements, because we watched them like a hawk, and we took all the follow-up measurements to make sure the grades were right. But it's just what we couldn't see, the utilities, is what.
When was the problem with the water line discovered? How far along in the project?
The first thing that the contractor did was pothole and multiple potholes. So we identified the issue with the water main very early on, within the first few weeks of the contractor's work.
Why wasn't it investigated further as far as, I mean, if something had been done ahead of time, rather than doing the street the way it was there, causing its additional cost?
Well, if you allow me to state that this was not really viewed from the engineering standpoint as an additional cost. It's within the budget. We just didn't have it in the contract because we were optimistic that we could avoid a cost, but we put it in the budget because we didn't know. And so here we are. And like I said, we were within 4 to 6 inches of not having to lower the water main, but it turns out we're having to lower the water main.
And isn't the appropriations for basically it's 225, correct? I mean, that's the 118 that we had for 115 we had for contingency plus another 109.
Mhm.
So
Yes,
it's a total of 225. Correct?
The contingency was already in the last council meeting when we approved the contract. So I actually had revised that from between 5 to 10% to make it 15% when we went to award, because we anticipated there to be some level of issue with the utilities. Unfortunately, it became a little bit more. So we would be using 100% of that contingency, the 115,850, and then an additional 109,457.76, all which is still under the budget that's in the capital project.
It's under the budget, but it's not under the bid that we approved, correct?
Right, so this will be the change orders, actually change the contract bid. Mhm.
It's just that that's a very large change order on the number 4 there and number 3. So just wishing we could have anticipated some of that ahead of time rather than seems like every time we get one of these, we're adding to.
Well, and we did have a limited budget for design. So could we have expanded the exploratory with actual surveying and things like that? We could have. It would have taken longer and more financial commitment as well. So I wouldn't say it's an equal balance, obviously, but we would have had to make that commitment up front. We were trying to move this project along through design quickly. And we did, we moved it very quickly, but I think we could have done extra survey work, and done, some pre-potholing with a contractor on just a small contract and done it differently, yes.
I mean, I think at this point, we're kind of locked in at this point, where we gotta approve it, but I would really like to see us do a little better job on the planning up front, rather than having to do these large appropriations after the fact. But if we can please try and work on that, it would be much appreciated. So. Any other questions or comments, from council?
You know, I think I'm right with you, Mayor, not only the cost, but also the time. For our community, we're already taking the heat, that nothing is being done, that things are being delayed, and then with this as well. So not just the money, but the time. So thank you for mentioning that, Mayor.
All right, you're very welcome. If not, I will entertain the motion on item L3, move approval. Need a second? Second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
All right, L4, resolution, city council, city of Greenfield supplementally appropriating $19,550 for fiscal year 23-24 for recreational and expenditure. Staff report, please.
Good evening again, city council members. So the purpose of this item is to make budget adjustments to the recreation department that were unexpected at the original budget adoption. In the past years, the recreation department has grown and we have expanded our programs, and with that also came several increase in spending. And as reflected on the staff report, that includes operating bills, like our electricity, our utilities. We have to spend more on recreation services as well, because our programs are growing. That means we're spending more money on our programs to increase the quality. And we also absorbed the management of the art center. So that created an increase in spending. But I also included in this staff report that we have also increased our revenues. So we were expecting $10,994 in excess revenues for this fiscal year. So that'll offset some of this supplemental appropriation that I'm requesting. So I know you had the staff report ahead of time, but if you have any questions on any of this that we are requesting. So we're requesting $19,550, and my recommendation is to approve the supplemental appropriation for our department. So I'll be happy to answer any questions.
All right, first I'm going to open it up for public comments on L4. Seeing nobody with comments, I'll bring it back to council for review and action, comments, review and action. I just want to say, I mean, this is minimal appropriation for all the work that you do and all the programs you've got running on. So thank you for all that you do out there. It's really good. As I mentioned in my comments, there's things for seniors going on. There's things all over the place. So thank you for
Thank you.
I agree, and that's what I was going to say as well, is the fact that we're actually seeing a lot more uptake in our programs shows that you're doing a great job. Keep it up, please.
Thank you.
I think I really enjoy looking at the pictures. It really, some of these trips that you're taking, some of these kids would never be able to go. And so it's really nice. I mean, there's a couple of times I'm like, I want to go.
I think you're talking about some of the science workshops, field trips, but yeah, so that's through a grant program that we're also a part of. So,
but I mean, everything that.
Yeah, it's all through the same. Yeah.
It's all good and
We have
it's all working out for the community.
Yeah, I think we have a really good team of people that put together community services, recreation, the science workshop, Fabiola with community outreach. So there is a lot going on. So these types of supplemental appropriations being requested, it just makes sense. We're really growing in the services that we're providing as a team here. Yeah.
I agree with everything that my colleagues mentioned, Jesus. Just one request,
Mhm.
now that you're taking over the community center on El Camino,
The art center, yeah.
Art Center, can you bring Danza Azteca again? I know that one of our residents, Ramon, he was one of the well-known dancers. He wanted to
Yeah.
start up the program again, and I know that culturally wise, our youth is missing a lot of our culture, so hopefully embrace that by bringing back the Danza Azteca. But you're doing above and beyond. If you have time and you can, bring Danza Azteca, but you're doing a fabulous job.
Yeah, we actually had Ramon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ramon actually reached out a while back, and he wanted to use the community center. This is before we were at the art center, so I don't have his contact information on me. I don't know if you have it, if you can give that to me, but yeah, he was very interested, so there will be no problem getting him in the art center. So these are good classes to have available for our community.
Any other comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion on L4.
So I move to approve a resolution 2024-54.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. L5, resolution of the city council, city of Greenfield supplementally appropriating $175,000 to Tri-Cities disposal for 2 unpaid invoices from fiscal year 2014-15 and fiscal year 2019-2020. Staff report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This supplemental appropriation doesn't feel nearly as good as the last one. This is related to our trash hauling contract. And it is related to 2 invoices, one from January of 2015 and one from January of 2020 that we did not pay. Normally, when you have an accounts payable situation, this is just accounting stuff. The vendor is normally hot on making sure that they get paid, and they keep track of things really well. They might send out statements, make phone calls to make sure we pay them. For some reason, for these 2 invoices in 2 different years, they didn't, or we didn't do our normally fall under an internal audit function to make sure that services like this we pay once a month to make sure that we had paid 12 invoices in a year. And if we don't pick that up, normally our auditor would pick that up. Apparently none of that happened. So we've got some internal control issues as well as a vendor not keeping track. Somebody was keeping track or found it over at Tri-Cities and presented them to us. We then went back and checked, and in fact, we had not paid them. So to the extent that I don't know about 2015, I wasn't here. In 2020, we did have a general fund surplus. That surplus isn't as big as we thought it was because we need to pay this. So we have talked with Tri-Cities. We're going to get on a better schedule of perhaps getting monthly statements to make sure that we're all covered, as well as we still don't have an internal audit function at the city, but that's okay. We'll make sure that everybody's making sure that we're making 12 payments a year. So this will all come out of the general fund. It'll all come out of this year since those other years are closed, and it will just come out of the fund balance. So if there are any questions, I certainly will entertain them.
I will open it up for public comments first. Seeing none, I'll bring it back to council.
First question is, what's the statute of limitations on the debt? Can they actually come back after us for something in 2015?
Can they? I don't know what the statute of limitation is, but I really don't want to have a big old argument with our traffic.
Oh, I understand. I'm just wondering if it's something we legally have to do or not.
I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head, but I would guess it has not been long.
Okay. I was just wondering because it's, again, we're talking for 2015, we're talking 9 years ago. Right. So. And the second question is do we now have sufficient checks and balances in place on all 3 sides? Because I understand the Solid Waste Authority also has to deal with the contracts with Tri-Cities. Are there checks and balances in place now to prevent this from happening again?
No, I do not know the answer to that. I know that we have checks and balances within the city that will make sure that we pay 12 monthly payments for the year. Whether they're going to send out statements at the end of the month, that's kind of a process, and they don't feel they need to do it. But apparently, I don't know if this has happened with other cities.
Okay,
It certainly has happened twice with us. So
right. So if that's the case, I know we're under contract negotiations. Can we add that to the contract? That they will send out
oh,
monthly bills and there will be checks and
I'm
balances in
sure you
place.
can. Yeah,
Are they charging us interest on those bills or? is it-
they are not.
Okay.
No.
Any other questions?
Will they give us a discount if we pay it in full? Yeah, discount.
2%, 10 years. Never.
Right, I will entertain a motion on item L5.
Second,
We move to approve L5. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. L6, a resolution of the City Council, City of Greenfield to approve supplemental appropriation to current budget revenue and expense account for the Regional Early Action Plan Grant 2.0. Staff report, please.
Hi, good evening, Mayor, City Council members. This is Yesenia from Community Development. Back in November 2023, the City Council approved the entering into the agreements with AMBAG for the Regional Early Action Planning 2.0 grant in the amount of $85,000. On December 2023, the agreement was fully executed and the City of Greenfield was given the okay to start charging to the REAP grant. The grant has been mainly used to pay for the consultant services for the sixth cycle of the housing element. And our department is requesting that the City Council authorize staff to allocate the $85,000 grant amount to the revenue and expense accounts that are noted on your staff report. The reason for the budget allocation for revenue account is because this grant is reimbursable, meaning that we spend beforehand and then we bill to AMBAG and then they send a check for reimbursement for exactly the amount that we have spent, and this is done on a quarterly basis. We do not, one thing to note is that we do not anticipate to finish the $85,000 within this fiscal year, as we do have until March of 2026 to spend all the funding, and therefore this will continue to incur the same thing for next fiscal year. And as a side note, we're still waiting right now, given by the state as to their planning to cut the funds by 50%, but we will not know anything until late May. That's what we have been advised. So we'll come back to with the rest of the amounts. With that, I conclude, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
All right, I'll first open it up for public comments on L6. Seeing none, I'll bring it back to council. Comments, review, and action. Any questions on this one? Pretty straightforward, pretty straightforward. All right. I'll entertain a motion on L6. So move. Then moving seconded, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you. Item M, city attorney report.
Good evening, Mayor White and City Council. I did just want to provide an update on the Council Code of Conduct and Rules and Protocols update. One of the commenters mentioned that. So at our study session a few weeks ago, Council wanted to see more information about social media policies in other cities and also press policies in other cities. So we've compiled that information and I plan to bring it back to you at the next City Council meeting. And then once you've provided direction on those two issues, I'll incorporate those into the final draft policies and bring those back for your approval the following.
All right, thank you. City manager report.
Yeah, the only announcement I've got is City Council team building on April 30th here from 5 to 9. And there will be food supplied. Staff will be doing a executive staff training as well in the same day. So if you have not yet completed your survey online, please do that. We'll get going. Thank you.
But you will be in classes from like 1 o'clock until 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
pretty much.
You
Have fun.
Enjoy yourself. All right. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.